Right then folks, Greeno here, out and about again on another glorious autumnal day, getting a little bit of vitamin D in before the winter comes along. Where am I today? Well, I have come to try Zizzi. Now Zizzi is a chain of Italian restaurants across the whole country. They're everywhere, aren't they? If you live in a biggish town, you've got a Zizzi near you. And I'm sure many of you will have already been and eaten there. They're kind of a little step up from your Pizza Express kind of place, aren't they? The reason I've come here today, I went to Wagamama recently, didn't I? And had a little look at some of their new autumnal menu items. And it got me to thinking, where else has got a similar thing going on? Zizzi has. They got like a few different starters, a few different mains that are part of a new sort of autumnal menu that will take them through to the spring probably, I guess. So we're going to go in and try some of those items. So I'm excited to try this. I've got a hunger on and I do like a bit of Italian food. So come on, let's go and give it a try. Right then folks, so we're in and we're seated. Very nice kind of vibe to this restaurant. Lots of bright colours around on the walls, plants everywhere, exposed brickwork. Kind of looks kind of nice and rustic, I like that. So, like I say, seated, been given the menus. Now on the front of the menu are a few little specials, which are only here for a short period. And inside we have the main menu, which is set out with starters, meat dishes, pizza, pastas, all that sort of stuff. And in here it's clearly noted which are the new items on the menu. There's also a helpful little thing on the table here detailing some of the new items, and you can have a little look at what they look like, which is quite a nice little touch, I think. So, what are we going to order? Well, I'm here with Mrs. Greeno, and we have got Little in here with us. Neither of them want to be on camera today, so we're just going to get a few things to share for the table. So we're going to start off with a garlic bomb. It's kind of like a garlic bread type thing apparently, and this is going to have chorizo and mozzarella. So that's quite a nice little thing, I think. It's a new one. Normally it's just with mozzarella, so this is new with chorizo added in. We're also going to go for a king prawn spiedini, which is basically like a big skewery thing by the sounds of it, and that comes with a sauce to pour over it, which sounds quite nice. And also from this new sort of special menu, there's some crab and lemon arancini. Now I like arancini, and being crab, that should be nice and delicate inside. That sounds good to me. For the mains, there's a really nice sounding one here, a new one, beef brisket and venison stufato. So that's kind of like a big beef and venison stew, nice and hearty for autumn, and that's going to come with some potatoes, onions, and it's all served in a dough bowl, which will be quite interesting to see, I think. Nice presentation. We are getting a pizza, which is from here again. Venison, pepperoni and hot honey. Now hot honey is all the rage these days, isn't it? Everyone seems to be putting it on everything. I'm never a big fan of honey generally, but the hot honey I quite like, just that little chili element to it. And of course venison, because it's a nice autumnal kind of thing. So this pizza looks pretty good. And one other dish we've got is called a Sicilian salmon. So that's a pasta dish, and that's a pan-fried salmon fillet with a creamy sauce, with parsley butter, zesty lemon and capers, and some crispy kale on there. I mean, kale's good for you, right? Basically a health food, I reckon. The drinks have arrived. This is not actually my drink, this is Litland's. This is a Morello cherry mocktail. Looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Nice and purple. Some cherries on the top, a little bit of rosemary in there for garnish rather than taste, I imagine. But it's got a nice sweet kind of smell to it. I'm just going to have a sip and then pass it over. Oh wow. Really nice cherry flavour in there. A little bit of sweetness, but not too much. A little bit of sourness from that cherry. I think you're going to like this one, Little. Me, myself, I've gone for the San Pellegrino soft drink. And I've gone with the lemon one. The reason for that, obviously we've got sort of fishy stuff in the starters with the king prawns, and a sort of salmon with lemon as a pasta dish in the main course. So I think this, as a soft drink, rather than just a water or whatever, will go with that quite nicely. Nice little touch here as well, as we're seated and waiting for everything to come. Complimentary pasta crisps. Let's give them a try, shall we? So these are interesting. I think they're basically just like dried pasta thrown into a deep fryer. and then it sort of puffs up, a bit like you would with popcorn or something like that. So they're coated in something here, a nice sort of deep red, brown kind of colour. It smells very kind of tomatoey, barbecuey. Let's give it a try. Really crispy. It is a barbecuey kind of flavour. Like I say, no kind of chili or spice to it, but maybe a touch of paprika or something in there too. Cool. Just as a nibbly kind of, almost like a beer snack or something. That's really good. This is the second place I've come across with sort of new updated menus. Let me know in the comments section down below if you know of any other places that I should be trying that have got new menus, or even with Christmas coming up. Maybe there's a place you'd like to see the sort of festive menu of. Let me know. Right then folks, starters have arrived. So we have this king prawn spiedini here. So you've got some nice kind of grilled lemon on the top, which you squeeze and it goes all the way down all those prawns. 5 nice big king prawns there. And at the bottom, we've got a couple of sauces here. I think one of them's a garlic mayo kind of dip. The other one a sort of fishy tomatoey kind of thing. We have the crab arancini here. So there's 5 nice little arancini here. Coated with a little bit of parmesan, again another little dipping sauce there too, and this chorizo garlicky mozzarella-y bomb thing. That looks pretty special as a bread goes, doesn't it? So, where are we going to start? I think, well, we'll just go this way, shall we? We'll start with the prawns. The prawns look really nice. They are big and juicy. You just pull it off of there like that. Careful of the skewer. Don't want to kebab myself. But look at that prawn, really nice, big and meaty, absolutely yummy. So I'll try it as it is first, and then we'll try it with the dipping sauces. So, this has been grilled, so it's got a nice little charring flavour on it. The lemon juice that dripped down gives it a nice little zing. And it's a really big, meaty, and nice and juicy prawn. It's been cooked well. Let's try these dipping sauces. So this red one, I'm not entirely sure what it is, but we'll give it a try. A little bit of chilli to it. Kind of tomatoey vibe. That's really quite flavoursome. Very nice with the prawn. Go for the garlic one too. There's a bit more of this in the thing, so maybe you're supposed to put a bit more on. Big whack of garlic right from the start there. A little bit of herb in there too. It's basically like a herby garlic mayo, but with a lot of garlic. That is good. Really very nice. Don't want to waste any of the meat. Very, very tasty. Right, let's move on to these arancini now. There's 5 pieces of, and they're quite small arancini, as you can see here. They're almost sort of bite-sized really, but we'll do it in 2 bites. We're a little bit more civilised than that here on Greeno Eats, aren't we? Sometimes. So let's give it a little try first. It feels nice and crispy. It's got that nice grated parmesan on the top. That is nice inside there. Very delicate crab flavour. Little undertone of lemon. Not so much that it's going to whack you in the face and overtake the crab. It's a complementary flavour. And the outside is lovely and crispy. It's like a really kind of posh fish cake, if you like. Again, dipping sauce here. I'm not sure entirely what this is. I should look it up on the menu, really. But it looks like it's kind of herby mayo. And we've got some little bits of herb here on the side. Something a bit sagey or thymy. That dipping sauce is nice too. It's got a sharpness, almost like a creme fraiche kind of sharpness to it. A little bit of herbiness, but again, not enough that it overtakes the general flavour of that delicate crab. And not too much parmesan on this. Again, just enough to give it a little salty kind of hit. Really very nice. Okay. Last but by no means least, we're going for this big old bread thing. So it's like a huge old bread roll. It almost looks like it's been hollowed out and filled with mozzarella in there, and then the chorizo and the hot honey on the top. Kind of looks like a volcano ready to erupt, doesn't it? So I'm not quite sure how you're supposed to attack this, to be honest. But we're going to cut into it. Oh, it's leaking out everywhere, all over the plate. Look at all that goodness coming out of it. We'll cut a chunk off. Get some of that filling from the middle. Oh, and that's soaking up all that lovely juice that's just come out where I cut it open. We'll get some of the mozzarella, get some of the chorizo in there. There we go. It's quite a substantial bread. It's quite weighty. I had a bit of a cheese pull going on there too, which is always nice. Now, try and do this elegantly, shall we? The bread is lovely and pillowy. I say it felt quite substantial, but it's actually quite soft and fluffy inside. The outside is cooked very nicely. It's got like little bits of like polenta or something on the outside. Helps give it that crisp. The inside, lovely and gooey and cheesy. Little pops from that chorizo, which are kind of paprika rather than chili. Quite a lot of sweetness from that hot honey as well. But not unpleasantly so. Sometimes things like honey can overtake everything here, can't they? This is, again, a complementary flavour to everything. Oh, I'm going to dip that into the juices that are on the plate. Get a bit of the parmesan off of there as well. Boy, yeah. That is very, very tasty. Well then, folks, the starters were a great success. I've got to say, I really enjoyed all three of those. The little bomb thing. Garlic bread's not normally my favourite thing in the world, but with that great big whack of mozzarella, the honey and the chorizo, really tasty. The little crab balls, the arancini, excellent too. But the prawns, they were the star of the show. Massive, meaty, juicy prawns. Both the dipping sauces were great. That would be my recommendation if you come here. Try those prawns. Quick little sip of this lemon. Cleanse the palate a little bit. And we wait for the mains to arrive. Right then, folks, what a feast we have on our hands here. So, what I didn't realise is Mrs. Greeno took care of the ordering. She ordered some little courgette fritti, which aren't new on the menu, just as a little side, just as a little picky thing. So we'll have a little try of that. Courgette, again, not necessarily one of my favourites, but coat it in batter and deep fry it. You won't find me complaining. So, we have three dishes here. We have the salmon pasta, which is the Siciliana salmon. This is with parsley, with lemon, with capers, some crispy kale involved there as well. Quite an attractive looking plate of food, that, I think. This is the more rustic kind of autumnal dish. This is the beef brisket and venison stufato, served in this bread bowl. And there's this is like a cheese crisp, scamorza cheese, and some crispy sage leaves on there, all cooked in a Chianti red wine sauce. That's going to be nice and rich and hearty. I also have a pizza here, which you probably can't even get into shot at the moment, but it's a massive old venison, what's that stuff called? Pepperoni, venison pepperoni on the top, and scamorza again, and all sorts of cheesy, sagey goodness. Again, nice autumnal flavours in there. So, I think I'll probably start with the salmon. That's the lighter dish, I think. So we'll give that a go first. Again, we've got a nice little piece of lemon here, which we can squeeze over the top of the fish. There's lemon in the sauce, I believe, anyway. Oh, careful of those pips, Greeno. We don't want to be eating those, do we? I do quite like it when they put the lemon inside a little bit of muslin or something, so that you don't get pips falling out everywhere. Because, of course, I've got nowhere to put it right now, so... Okay. Let's get in and try this. So the salmon here pulls away quite nicely. I don't know what the coating is on it. There is like a little kind of, like a dusting of flour or something on there. The salmon itself Looks nice and juicy inside, but it is probably a little more cooked than I would cook it myself. Let's give it a try. In saying that, it is lovely and soft and juicy. If I was cooking salmon, I'd probably cook it a bit pinker in the middle, but they've not cooked it so much that it dries it out. That's a nice little bit of fish, that. That's a nice little floured coating on it. Crispy skin here, if skin is your thing. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's try this pasta as well. So we've got some like spinach leaves in there, there's capers, there's lemon, little bits of courgette I think in there too. And all of this nice frilly pasta. Like nice ribbons of pasta there. So let's dig it into the sauce bit in the middle. See if we can pick up a little bit of caper in there as well. Bit of everything if we can. And give it a try. It's nicely cooked pasta. Still a little al dente. The sauce is kind of buttery and delicate. You can pick out the parsley in there. I didn't manage to get a caper, I don't think, this time, but we'll see how that goes now. These little capers had a lovely little salty hit. The little veggies add texture and a little bit of freshness. And like I say, because it's a sort of buttery, lemony kind of dish, it is quite a light pasta dish. Yeah, that really, really goes nicely with that salmon. One more mouthful and then we're moving on to the ragu. That I like. Possibly could do with a little whack of pepper, but that's something you can add yourself. So, moving on to this. So inside this kind of bread bowl here, which is kind of just like made out of pizza dough by the looks of it. We've got the venison, we've got the beef, there's potatoes in there, crispy cheese, and the little crispy sage leaves and a few little micro herbs and stuff in there. So, the smell is great, really nice and rich. So let's get a piece of this meat. Now as I went to pick that up, it just fell apart. That's going to be lovely and soft and tender. Oh yeah. The red wine sauce, gravy. It's got a lot of depth into it. It's tomatoey. It's a deep flavour, deep autumnal flavour. That's good. Let's try one of these little potatoes. Nicely cooked, nice and soft. Yep, that's good. And see how it works with the cheese. We'll get a bit of everything. So we get some of this crispy cheese, a little bit of sage. Oh, easier said than done, clearly. And a little bit of this meat. Can't keep it all on the fork. I'm trying to put too much on there. Here we go. A little bit of everything. That is a cracking kind of autumn-winter dish. The cheese adds a nice little texture. Quite a delicate cheesy flavour. Because obviously the flavours of the stew itself are quite robust. The potato, like I say, has got a lovely texture to it. And the sauce is everything you want from like an autumnal dish. And then, at the end, you've got this lovely bread here. That's going to be filled with all of these juices. And you can eat the bowl. What's not to like? Okay, folks, so those two main dishes I've really enjoyed. Pizza time, though. So again, we've got this lovely kind of pepperoni stuff on here. Crispy sage leaves, bits of peppers and stuff. Little bits of chilli in there as well. Now, I'm not going to go mad with this, because I think we'll probably end up taking some of this home, because it is quite a big pizza, isn't it? Look at the size of it. So it's going to chop a little piece out of it. There we go. Have I got it? Not quite. So, I'll pick it up with the pizza cutter. Can you see how thin that base is? That's exactly how I like my pizzas. Really thin and crispy. Nice toppings on there. Not overloaded. If you overload a pizza with toppings, it goes soggy, doesn't it? So, the only way to really eat pizza, in my opinion, kind of fold it up and eat it like a sandwich. You've got everything in here, so that's good. That's nice pizza. There's a little bit of chilli in there, and that's kind of the first thing that hits you. You've got some more of this crispy cheese. That, with the soft cheese that's melted all over the top, gives a nice contrast. You've got crispiness from the sage leaves too. And quite clever how they've managed to get those kind of autumnal flavours into a pizza. The venison pepperoni really has got a nice depth to it. It's not spicy in any way, it's just like a venison sausage. And do you know what? It's lovely crispy crust on the outside. That is a cracking pizza, that really is. Okay then guys, got the bill, paid the bill. Don't worry, no waste today. Didn't eat most of the pizza, even though it's delicious, so it's coming home with us. Zizzi do takeaways anyway, so it's kind of just a version of that, isn't it? So, overall, got to say pretty impressed with this, but let's go outside and talk about it a little bit more. Okay then folks, outside now. Let's run through this bill quickly. So overall, we've paid £95.25 for that lunch. The 3 starters, of course, which were all off the sort of autumn or specials menu, really, really good. Can't find any fault in those at all. And then we had the beef stufato, we had the Sicilian salmon pasta, and that pizza as the main courses. And again, all really good. I'd say for me, possibly the salmon just a little bit overcooked, but still nice and juicy and tasty, and possibly could have done with a little crack more seasoning in the actual sauce. The beef dish, really, really tasty, and that pizza was great. We've got to give it a score, haven't we? I'm not going to give it a 5 because it wasn't perfect, but it was pretty damn close. Price-wise, $95.25. I mean, you could argue that's a little bit high, possibly. I mean, when you think that pizza's £18, is that a touch high for a pizza? Possibly. It's really good though. So I think we'll go with maybe a 4.5. 4.5 out of 5 I think is fair. Zizzi's autumn menu, it's a winner. It really is. Really tasty. Like I say, download the app. You might get a couple of freebies thrown in as well. What's not to like? Right then guys, if you've enjoyed this video looking at the new autumn menu here at Zizzi, don't forget to click a thumbs up. And if you really enjoyed the video, why not consider subscribing? That way you can catch up with all the back catalogue and catch anything new that comes up on the channel. Right, where to next? It's a lovely sunny day. Shall we go somewhere else? Maybe not, a bit full up, but I'll see you next time.